You may remember our story about a fellow named Gemase. He's the guy who put together this so-called reality show, and he convinced a bunch of 20-somethings to take part. They were competing for $50,000 and a job as a model. They really thought they had a shot at it.
This challenge is about breaking your endurance. You want to break your will.
50,000 on the line, I'm gonna do my best.
But as we investigated, we found out a lot more about Gemase.
The name of the show is Gemase Model Reality.
There apparently was no $50,000. There was no big network TV deal as he promised. And some of the young folks who were competing in this so-called reality show made a bunch of complaints about Gemase.
This on worldwide TV.
Gemase seems to run out of money. He fails to pay the camera crews. And we hear about this story. We start to investigate. We talk to some of the folks who participated, and they made some rather startling allegations about Gemase's behavior, sexual advances, things like that. And so we dug a little deeper, and we found out even more about Gemase's background, that there was a criminal history there, and we wanted to talk to him about it. So we tried to confront him at a luxury apartment in Houston, and he said he would talk to us, in fact. He just had to go to the men's room for a minute. Okay, thanks. He never came back. Hey, Gemase, it's Chris Hansen. We've been pursuing this ever since the first story aired. Gemase surfaces again, and he tells us that he'll actually sit down and do an interview with us. So we're set up in this studio in New York City. I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
We spent months investigating this story. In addition to all the people we talked to on camera, I personally talked to probably a dozen more people on the phone and that I found that knew him, but have never talked to him. All along, we really just wanted to know what he had to say, what he was doing all this time, and what his motivations were. And so we're going to be really interested to hear what he has to say.
Gemase Simmons arrived at our New York City interview location right on time, ready to sit down and tell his side of the story.
Everything spiraled out of control, to say the very least.
What was your intent? What were you trying to do?
I was trying to put together a reality show that would generate enough revenue to finally pay my staff and myself, do a show that would actually introduce a next model, if you will, to the world at large, and have a hit reality program. What's funny about fashion TV is that clients actually watch this show. I will not be embarrassed in front of these clients.
Going into it, did you have a deal to air the show?
Well, I have talked to Ion Network.
Ion Network.
You guys will be head and shoulders above any other model and any other agency anywhere on the planet, with our show going around to 202 countries.
But I sat there, just like I'm sitting here with you,
Sure.
with a number of contestants, all of whom told the same story.
Sure.
About you making them believe that there, in fact, was a deal for this show to air.
Well,
Are they all lying?
I think they're all misled.
They're all misled.
Sure.
Well, they claim they're misled by you.
And I did not mislead them at all.
You didn't mislead them?
No. It was very clear through the emails that I sent them, very clear through the conversations that we had, that we had nothing signed with Ion as far as the final product until it was done. Nothing signed with Fashion TV either. I mean, I made that very, very clear.
You didn't pay anybody who worked on this show, did you?
No.
You left a lot of people holding the bag.
I did. And I'm very sorry for that. It was not my intention to run up bills and just not pay them. That was not what I was trying to do. I owe these people. I know that I owe these people. I'm reaching out to make sure I pay these people.
Reaching out? Nobody's been paid. This has been...
I haven't had any money.
Well, I know, but if you don't have the money, why promise people things? You're supposed to have the money before you hire the camera people.
Sure.
You're supposed to have the money before you get the limos. See, that's how shows work.
Right. I know that now.
You get a bunch of money, and then you go buy the stuff, and then you produce the show. What you did was con a bunch of people into being involved in a show, and didn't pay anybody.
I didn't con them at all.
Didn't keep any of the promises.
Well, I didn't.
You didn't
con
keep
them
any
at
of
all.
your promises here on
well,
this deal.
I didn't con them at all, and the stories don't.
You didn't con them?
No, I did not. Because for the camera crew, I called him. I spoke to the camera guy the day before we started taping. I told him exactly what we were going through. I said, "Look, I have no money for this show. If I say to you, I don't have the money for this, but I need your help, and when I get this, I will pay you. If you say okay, I didn't stick you. I didn't con you. I brought it up front to you. I laid it all out on the table."
That's not what Izzy says.
Well, I know that's not what Izzy says, but that's exactly what happened.
Okay. 3 of the male contestants we interviewed all said that you told them gay sex was part of modeling.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Why would they say that?
I think that sex sells, first of all. You know, did I tell them that? Absolutely not.
Did you ask one of them to lie down next to you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why would they lie about this? Why would they go on national television and say something unless it was true? And I'm telling you, Gemase,
Sure.
I looked into their eye. They had nothing to gain.
Sure. I think they thought that they would get on television. Creative stories get you on TV all the time. Did I invite them to my bedroom to have sex with me? No. I believe that peer pressure is really tough. And I believe that we kind of have a group mentality. Like, yeah, and this happened to me as well. And yeah, he told me this and he told me that. And that wasn't necessarily the case.
So everybody else is lying and you're telling the truth.
Well, I thought that was important for me to come on and say that.
You're the victim of a smear campaign.
They did a very good job of it, Chris. They did a very good job of it.
Well, you know, Chris is tough. But I was glad for the opportunity to get a chance to talk to him about my side of the story and to present the information that I had so we can move forward. They gave him a lot of bad information about me. So I didn't come in expecting to be treated like the hero. I expected to come in after redeem myself. So, you know, I hope in some way I did that.